Hey everybody, welcome to week 3 of the human resource course here. So you're almost halfway through. I've got got our scenery picture here. I've also got a another picture here I wanted to share with you just because with school, just a little motivational thing. I saw this pic here of the guy out running in the snow and the ice, and so I do analogies. Like most people when they look out in the morning and oh, there's snow out there, or it's raining, or it's hot, or it's cold. These are things that tell us to say no to doing an activity or whatever. And so my analogy with schoolwork, you have all these obstacles that tell you to, oh, I can't do that today or now, and but runners, like in the picture here, doesn't matter what it is, they go out and do it. When I was in the Army, it didn't matter what the weather was. We went out and did our PT every day. And when I used to be a runner, and that's why I post running stuff, because when I was I used to run in, high school and stuff. So it didn't matter what the weather was. You still went out and ran. So anyway, so there's my analogy for you. And, so let's jump into, oops, get out of there. Quick review. Last week, most of you were in there doing the discussion, so good interaction there, no issues. Homeworks, the ones I've seen, good job on those, so no issues on those either. So, like I said, some of you hadn't had them in when I did this video. I'm doing this Sunday afternoon, so, again, I will mention making school part of your weekly, what you do every day instead of waiting until Sundays, because there again, you just got to figure out a way to make the time every day to do school because it's part of your life, not something extra. So, upcoming discussion week 3, we will have a choose one or two, like it says here, visit websites, get the information, and so do like we did last week. Like I said, it was very good, so no issues there on discussions. Just make sure you get your initial one in on Wednesday, and then your 2 replies by the end of the week. If you reply to this can count as one of them. If you reply after the week is over, I don't give points out because the discussion's over, so you're not interacting anymore. So that's why no points because there's no interaction with anybody. If you post on a reply after the discussion's over, the person you're posting to doesn't see it, and therefore that person cannot reply to your reply. So because a lot of you think it's okay to do more than two replies. Most discussions, in other depending what type of course you're in or what level you're at, is more than 1 or 2 posts. It's a whole string of them. So, but anyway, let's see, upcoming homework. Dun, 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 same as before, you do the review questions, for the different chapters, like in this case, the odd one. So do like you've been doing on there, and you'd be good to go on that. Upcoming week of chapters here, it's 9 through 10. Chapter 9 deals a little bit about performance evaluations. So depending on what you're doing, where you work, evaluations is part of human resources, how you evaluate people. Personal opinion I've developed over the years is, one thing, a lot of people get put into supervision, are not prepared for it. They're kind of put there because maybe there's nobody else or something, or whatever the case is. As subordinates or workers who have supervisors, sometimes the relationships aren't very good because we think the boss is an idiot or whatever the case is. Sometimes it's not their fault. It just depends on the situation. Sometimes it is their fault. I'm not saying that, but sometimes it's not. And that becomes very apparent when you see an evaluation written from some people. I've seen over the years, I've seen evaluations from people. It's like the person doesn't know how to do an evaluation. They don't know how to fairly evaluate a person. So that's what this chapter covers here is that. So the next 3 chapters kind of cover chapter 9 is compensation, more compensation, and benefits. So all 3 of them interrelate. A couple things about compensation here. One of the things I want to point out here is chapter 9. Whoops, chapter 9 here. just a little tidbit of information. Employers pay an average of um, 30 hours per hour worked if an employee is getting $20 an hour. A lot of us never got $20 an hour. I'm sure some of you are in that category. But I did find, what did I find here? I found a couple of, oops, where's my, hold on here, let me get this out of the way. And I just bring this up because, there's often debates about minimum wage going up and, companies making all this money and things like that. And I'm not saying that there isn't, big companies, but when you guys start getting into little and small businesses and things like that, and people, yell about the $15 an hour thing, there's a reason for it. Ain't that it's not necessarily because they don't value the employees. It's because of the system we have. We have a tax system that basically puts a lot of expenses on being a boss. So one of the things here is like we all have withholdings for Social Security. Whatever's being withheld, like here, so Social Security tax, they take out 6% out of your pay, but the employer matches that. They pay it at 6% also. Medicaid, same thing. They take out they take out that 1.5. The employer matches that. Unemployment, same thing here. Depending on what the rate is, it's 6%. They also match that. Then you got state unemployment, depending on the rates, but so like here we'll just say it's 5%. So when you start adding all that up, 10, you start getting up to 10-20% on top of that. There's also other things, depending on what state you're in. Like I know when I owned stores in Ohio, whatever the payroll was determined what our workers' comp insurance was. So the higher payroll, the higher insurance rate we paid. So there's other things like that. And so over on this other side I found here, this just gives a kind of a straightforward breakdown. If somebody's making $30,000 a year, right, the employer paid you 30, they're actually paying out 44 because of these other taxes. All right, so that's why when they say $15 an hour or 10 or even $1 or $2 pay raise, when you multiply that by 10, 20 employees or hundreds of employees, you're getting into the thousands and tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars that they suddenly have to pay out. So when you talk about a small, medium-sized business, say medium-sized business, somebody owns something, and at the end of the year, they end up making maybe $200,000, for themselves, their income, but they had the business, they got like 20, 30 employees or whatever it is, maybe 50 employees. But then if, we're going to force a $15 an hour wage on them when they're already paying these people 10, well, that's what, 30% increase, and you top that, so so 30% on top of what, plus you're going to also increase what they're paying out by another 10 or 20%. To the employer, that's 50% more. It's not $5 more, it's 50% of what they're already paying out, which means they wouldn't be they'd actually lose money and go out of business. So that's why there's such an argument against it. Not that it's needed. I mean, the wages are too low. There has to be a way figured out to do that. But anyway, that's just the let you know why there's an argument against it. All right, so homeworks, like we said, okay, and then these are 3 chapters here. I'm going to chapter 1, compensation methods. There was something else in here I was going to show you, maybe. Maybe not. I might have already rambled about it, so let me look real quick in this last one. Benefits. Okay, benefits benefits is another one. So on top of taxes, if a company decides they're going to help you with, they're going to do a 401k, things like that, then that's another issue here. Also, there used not to be benefits over the years. It's kind of with unions back in the the 20s and 30s and 40s, uh, kind of forced employers to relook at things, doing benefits. The federal government went ahead and created agencies to oversight and look like EEOC. So one of my things is, that I kind of mentioned in some of my classes, there's no longer a need for unions because what the unions were doing has been replaced by government agencies and law. So therefore, so that's part of that. But let me see here. I think there was something, maybe not. There's a lot in here, and like I said, that's one of the things I also harp on. Make sure you do go through these slides because it does cover everything, and you're going to have to just spend time doing it. When you get to the quizzes and exams, you got terms, definitions, concepts, things like that that you have to look for. So, all right. So I'll quit here because we're getting on here to almost 10 minutes. So, all right. So I'll leave it alone there. As always, if you need anything, want to get back in get in touch with me. A lot of you are new students with me, so I mean, you may not be used to me yet, but I do these every week. If you watch them, I'll give you credit for posting the discussion. Also, just do the inbox, the message system. You can text me, call me if you got questions or problems. And please just try and start, get onto where you're working every day, not one day a week. And then I will leave you my test question for the week, which is this here. So this here is me, and you can just mention this and what you think, what's going on there. So, all right, with that, I will let you go. Have a great week, and talk to you later.